Buying your first home can be really exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. After nearly 20 years in real estate, I have seen it all, and I've put together the top 5 things that first-time homebuyers may not think about. So pay attention. Hey there, it's David Moyer with David Moyer Real Estate and Keller Williams Advisors. I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and I want to talk about the top 5 mistakes that first-time homebuyers make when they're going out there to purchase the home. Now, you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer in the greater Dayton area or anywhere here in Ohio. You could be anywhere in the country. This information is going to help save you a lot of time and a lot of money. So pay close attention. Go all the way through the video. Make sure you like and follow, share with somebody that you may know could take notes off of this and also save them some time, money, and headaches. And let's dive into it. One of the biggest mistakes I see first-time homebuyers make is that they may actually be looking at properties, going to open houses, looking online at all these homes on the big name websites. We're not going to say their names out loud. And they fall in love with the property before they ever talk to a lender or a real estate agent. And that's fine, but there is a likelihood that the home you fall in love with online may not be the home that you can afford, or maybe it's not even available by the time you get to that point. So my biggest suggestion is the first thing you want to do is talk to a lender. That lender is going to, first of all, check your credit. They're going to give you a process you can go through to see what your purchasing power is, explain to you what that means, and tell you about that entire process. And once you speak with them, there are 2 different types of qualifications they can give you. They can give you a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter. Now, what's the difference? A pre-qualification letter is based off of information you have given to that lender, but they have yet to verify that information. So they are taking your word for it, that everything you tell them is truthful, and they are using that to give you that pre-qualification letter. That's not going to help you as much when it comes to buying a home. What is going to help you is a pre-approval letter. That letter means the lender has done a basic credit check. They have looked at maybe your most recent tax returns, maybe some recent pay stubs. They've done a little bit of fact checking on everything that you told them for that pre-qualification letter. And once that's verified, you have the pre-approval letter. And when you go to buy a house, that seller and that agent that represents the seller is going to want to see that letter. So you might as well get it before you ever go out there and look at a property. Because the last thing you want to happen is that you find a home that you love, you tell your agent you want to write the offer, but you don't have that letter ready, and somebody else comes in, writes an offer that may be just as good as your offer was going to be, but they have their letter in hand, and that gives them the upper hand there as well. The second thing that a lot of first-time homebuyers may not think about is, what are the actual costs of purchasing a home? Everyone thinks, well, as long as I have my down payment, I'm good to go. Whether that's 3.5% for an FHA loan, 5% for a conventional, up to 20% conventional, you name it, they think as long as I have that, I'm good to go. But there are other fees involved that you want to know before you start this process. Once you go under contract for a property, you're going to want to do a whole house inspection. And that's going to be the minimum amount of inspection that you're going to want to do. And typically, depending on the size of the home, the location, and where you are in the country, that inspection can run anywhere from $350 all the way up to $1,000. And so you really want to make sure that you have that in mind. Talk to an inspector, have your realtor introduce you to an inspector so you can have those costs, you know that they're coming, and there's not a shock. Secondly, depending on who your lender is, once you go under contract, they need to get an appraisal schedule. And that appraiser is going to be a third-party company, not someone that works for the lender or the agent or anybody else. And that's a good thing, but they have to be paid as well. The typical appraisal fee can be, once again, anywhere from $350 up to around $500, depending on where you are and the type of home that you're looking to have appraised. And that is something that typically a buyer will pay for upfront through their lender. And then there are times that lenders may have you pay for them on the back end or credit you on the back end, but it's good to have that in mind. So I tell a lot of my first-time home buyers, have right around $1,000 saved up for the things that you want to do. And having that home inspection, paying that professional, paying that licensed inspector is going to save you thousands of dollars down the road. The last thing that buyers may want to take into consideration is closing costs for their loan. There are fees associated, such as setting up your escrow, which is your taxes and your insurance, as well as lending fees to establish the mortgage in your name. Now, you can work with your real estate agent, your buyer's agent. When they negotiate the contract on your behalf, you can try and negotiate the seller to potentially pay some of those closing costs for you. Keep in mind, they're not paying them for you. You are essentially financing them into the life of your loan, and that could reduce your money out of pocket. But in a competitive market, sometimes not asking the seller to pay those closing costs can be a really big benefit to you, and they see that as a benefit, and it can help you beat out your competition. So you want to have that in mind, that if you go into a tight market where there's a lot of competition, that you may have to pay those closing costs yourself. But that's not always the case. Trust me, once again, after 20 years, I have seen buyers get all of their closing costs paid for, half their closing costs paid for, and when they're in a multiple offer situation, sometimes they have to bite the bullet. I can explain all that in a separate video, or you can reach me and we can talk about how those closing costs affect you. Whether you pay them up front or a seller pays them, you're still paying them. Next up is a really big one when it comes to how I run my business and how I work with my buyers, especially my first-time home buyers. During the COVID pandemic, we saw so much competition that there were buyers out there that were actually saying, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am willing to pay you XYZ for your house. I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to be your favorite person that you've ever met that's going to buy your house. And I want this house so much, I'm not even going to have it inspected. Excuse me? Why would you do that? Even if it becomes a competition and you are trying to beat out everybody else, skipping on that inspection can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars down the road. What you're essentially telling that seller is that you trust that they've taken care of the home regardless of how long they've lived there, and you are going to accept anything that you find once you move in after you've closed everything and the deed is recorded and it is officially yours. Now, do you have the right to do that? Absolutely. Should you? Absolutely not. There are strategies I have in mind that when I have a buyer, especially a first-time home buyer, who's trying to be as competitive as they can in a tight market, and they say, David, maybe we should waive the inspections. Maybe we should limit the inspections. I have strategies that I show them that will not only save them a lot of money, make them extremely competitive, and protect them at the end of the day. Don't skip out on those inspections. Trust me. Now, this next tip may be a little bit difficult to hear, so stay with me. Don't get emotional. Here's the one reason I tell people you should always work with a licensed real estate agent, is that agent is going to represent your fiduciary. They're going to take care of you, whether you're on the buying side or the selling side. So if you're a first-time home buyer, they are going to keep you grounded. It's really easy to walk into that property and fall in love and get dreamy and say, this is everything I've ever wanted. And all of a sudden, everything goes out the window that we just talked about over our last 3 or 4 talking points, right? Don't get dreamy. Keep grounded. This is more than just a home and a dream. This is also an investment, so you want to treat it like one. If you fall in love with a property and everything looks like it's roses and everything is through rose-colored glasses, make sure you're looking underneath all of that. The grass isn't always greener. So your agent will keep you grounded, your agent will show you the numbers, and your agent will get you the house that not only you want and you deserve. And one of the tips I give people is to make a list of what I consider to be the non-negotiable items that they do want in a house. What are your needs? What are your wants? And what are your wishes? So if these are the needs and we get all of that for you, now, what are your wants, things that you really kind of lean into, but maybe you could negotiate off? And then what are your wishes, that if you had something from every column, even the wish column, it's a slam dunk? That's what you need. Those lists will help you in the end. Now, this one hits a little bit home for me, but the last tip I have for you if you're a first-time home buyer, and mistakes that I see buyers make all the time, is not using a local real estate agent. And you may think to yourself, well, David, I know what I want to pay for a house. I can look on records, I can look on Zillow, I can look on Realtor.com, I can get all this information, and absolutely, yes, you can. But that agent that you work with does this full-time, every single day, day in, day out. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but after 20 years, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families, couples, buyers, single people, things I've helped move to the Dayton area and around here, I have seen it all. I know these neighborhoods. I know the history of these neighborhoods. I know what's up and coming. And so I'm able to help show you a little bit of a glimpse into the future. If you were to buy here, if you were to stay here for 5 years, this is what the potential outcome could be. This is what's happened over the past several years in this neighborhood. Remember, this is an investment. That agent is going to help you, represent you. And remember, when you are working with the buyer's agents, they have a fiduciary to you. Their responsibility by law, and the reason we have licenses, is that we work on your behalf with your money, for your money. It's a fiduciary. We're not out there just because this is what we do for a living. We're out there to represent you, protect you, and to get you from point A to point B as seamlessly as possible. And also, when you're looking for a buyer's agent, don't just go out there and select anybody. I think this is a mistake a lot of people make. They go onto a website, they see a flashy promo, maybe they see a house they like on Zillow or something similar, and they go on there and they will click on the show me this house, and they're selected and put in contact with a random agent that they've never met and have no connection to. Do your research. Interview a couple of people. Trust me, I have been interviewed so many times, it's almost like I don't have a job every single morning. So when you interview with that agent, ask the questions. Find someone that you click with. Find someone that you feel comfortable with. Find someone you're going to have fun with. You may be with this person for a long time looking for houses, late Saturday nights, early Sunday mornings, middle of the day on a Wednesday. Find someone that you enjoy working with, because this is a very intimate and very large purchase. So you want to make sure that you feel confident. And that agent should be willing to sit you down, have what we call a buyer's consultation, explain a lot of the things I've told you already and then some, and go over how they protect you and answer any questions before you ever step foot in a house, so that you are ready when that time comes. Buying your first house doesn't have to be stressful. That's the whole point of this video, so I hope you found it informative. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment below, like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. You can also DM me. All of my contact information is right there on the homepage. So feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to answer questions. That's what I do. I work for the public, and I want to make this a very seamless transaction for you. One that you're happy you went on, one that you look back with and think, I'm glad that I did my research, and one that I hopefully saved you quite a bit of money in the long run.